What's good, everybody? It's Robo back with another video, and today I've got my college football week 0 picks. It's so good to be back for a new season of college football. Week 0 is a short one, but that'll allow me to go a little bit more in depth in these games than usual. But before I get into the games, let me go ahead and recap last season's results real quick. As you may know, I did picks for almost every single FBS game last season, both picking a winner and against the spread, and finished with a 568 and 173 win-loss record, and went 389, 238, and 9 against the spread. And overall, a really solid year for my first time doing weekly picks and tracking it, and to top it off, I guessed all 3 playoff games correctly as well. But I'm feeling even better about this season with how much I've studied each and every team around the country. Obviously, picking games is always going to be tough, but I really enjoy keeping track regardless, so without further ado, let's go ahead and break down these 4 week 0 games. The first game of the season and the most anticipated game of week 0 is honestly one I prefer to stay away from, because I can see this game going a number of ways. Georgia Tech could be a sleeper in the ACC this season because of Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, the receiver room, and the offensive line, making it one of the better offensive units in the entire conference. The issue in this game, though, is Florida State's defense. Both corners, A.Z. Thomas and Fentrell Cypress, are elite, and so is the defensive line with Patrick Payton and Josh Farmer. Whatever Haynes King's rushing prop is, I'd consider the over because of his dual threat ability and the way Florida State's secondary can cover the field, forcing them to extend the play. But most importantly, if Georgia Tech wants a chance to win this game, it'll need the new-look FSU offense to struggle in Game 1, and matchup-wise, I don't think they have the defense to be able to make that happen. Even with the amount of turnover the offense had this season, especially with the receivers, and the fact that it's DJU's first start as a Seminole, I still don't trust Tech's defense to slow them down enough, so because of that, I'm going to take Florida State to win this one by 2 scores, 34-20. But again, I would not be surprised to see Georgia Tech hang around late in this one if they find any success through the air, and Florida State's offense has some early season troubles. We've got a Week 0 FCS versus FBS upset bid, with FCS powerhouse Montana State heading out to a completely rebuilt New Mexico squad led by new coach Bronco Mendenhall. When I say completely rebuilt, I mean it, with sophomore Devin Dampier taking over as quarterback 1, Iowa State transfer Eli Sanders at RB1, and a completely new offensive line unit patched together in the portal. As a group, I'm expecting this offensive line to be pretty brutal, especially given the lack of continuity, but we haven't seen them at all, so time will tell with that. Montana State is no North Dakota State, but are absolutely strong enough to win this game as the spread indicates. Up against a really poor Lobo defense, dual threat quarterback Tommy Mellott should find a ton of success on the ground, as well as former Wisconsin running back Julius Davis. They also brought in several transfers from the FBS level, including 2 on the offensive line to help replace what they lost. So this team still looks dominant for an FCS squad. The matchup simply favors Montana State here, and I'm going to take them to win this game. But on the road, first game of the year, and first game for Mendenhall as coach, it's hard not to think New Mexico can get fired up to compete in this game. So my best read on a game full of unknowns is the Lobos losing a close one to just a stronger team, 30-24. On to Game 3, we've got SMU at Nevada at 8 p.m. This one will be fun if you like offense, but it could be over quick as SMU is just far superior to Nevada. SMU's a legitimate ACC contender this season with a very strong football team on both sides of the ball. Quarterback Preston Stone should have another big year, along with Jalen Knighton back at running back, each of their top 6 receivers back, and an elite tight end in RJ Maryland, who I think is one of the top 15 or so in the country. The defense is solid as well, with an elite pass rush led by Elijah Roberts, and one of the more underrated secondaries in the ACC with safety Isaiah Nakobia leading the way. If they're locked in early, the only way SMU doesn't cover the spread is if the backups struggle in the second half, but I actually have a lot of faith in backup Kevin Jennings, as they seem to want to get him the legitimate playing time this season, as he could be too good to keep off the field, and the offensive line looks deep enough to continue scoring points even when they throw in the towel late. I don't want to ignore the improvements Nevada has made this offseason, bringing in a new receiving core and some more depth on the line and on the defense, but this matchup is still so rough for them, and preseason they're projected to finish near or at the bottom of the Mountain West. I'm going to trust SMU to cover here on the road with a big offensive showcase, 45-14. The last game of Week 0 is a late one, kicking off at midnight as Hawaii takes on Delaware State, and from first glance, this spread of 38.5 points looks absolutely ridiculous until you take a look at what Hawaii returns and some of the scores Delaware State ended with last season. A 57-point loss to Army, 42-point loss to Miami, Ohio, and a 41-point loss to North Carolina Central. This team has been really struggling at the FCS level, and Hawaii returns a really strong offensive unit led by quarterback Braden Shager, the same receiving corps minus Stephen McBride for this game, and now a healthy Tylen Hines back as the RB1. And the defense returns almost all their production for 2023 and should see a slight step up there as well. There's a lot of excitement around this team in Hawaii, and I'd expect them to want to kick the season off with a bang up against a far inferior opponent, especially now considering the news that Delaware State missed their flight to Hawaii and had to split the team up on commercial flights to make the trip, arriving days later than they anticipated. I think Hawaii is going to flirt with 50+ in this game, and I would be surprised if Delaware State keeps it remotely close. So for a final score prediction, I'm going to go 52-10 Hawaii. That's it for my Week 0 picks. College football is almost here, and I can't wait to get the season started this weekend. Coming soon, I've got my ACC preview, and then my SEC and Big 12 previews after that, so stay tuned to the channel for those. As always, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.